atmosphere around the ballpark. It doesn't get much better than this, does it?
It's always good to be back. A sellout crowd. This already feels like a special year with a 5-1 start. Everyone talking about the Cubs. Just a lot of buzz around Wrigley Field, and I think we might want to get used to that. It could go on for a long time.
Can't disagree with that. It's one of those ball clubs that's put together, and it's a sustainable ball club. They're young, they're talented, they're good people. I mean, there's nothing you can say that could detract from this ball club right now. They just got to go out and play their game, but this is a club that's going to be good for a long time.
We gave you the colors of the uniforms. The uni descriptions are sponsored by Benjamin Moore, the official paint of the Chicago Cubs. Left-hander John Lester has finished his warm-ups. We are just about set for game time. Opening day, opening night, they're always special, Ron, but as a ball player, right about now, you have to forget about everything else and just focus on winning this ball game.
Yeah, you do, but it's easier said than done. You know, when you come out to your home ballpark, a packed house, coming around the ballpark today early, 1:30. The neighborhood was packed full of people. So for John Lester, I know he's going to have some butterflies and some anxiety, you know, and all those things going on. But here after a few pitches, he'll settle in and we'll have a ball game.
Zach Cozart, right-handed batter, stands in. The big, tall, strong lefty Lester fires. First pitch outside, and away we go. Lester at 6'4", 240 pounds. Come to think of it, he started the home opener, the season opener, a year ago against St. Louis and suffered a loss. There's a fastball outside. It's 2-0 to Cozart. Lester pitched exceptionally well in his first start this season, last Tuesday night in Anaheim. Gave up just 1 run in 7 innings in a Cubs win. And the 2-0 to Cozart, swung on and fouled back. Ron, it's 48. It's windy. The wind chill is probably, I would think, around 40, maybe even a little below. And you're getting into those temperatures where sometimes the pitchers have a tough time gripping the ball and having good control.
Well, when it gets breezy like this, Pat, it also gets dry.
The 1-2, soft line drive, shallow right center, over a leaping Zobrist. And it's a base hit for Zach Cozart. Zobrist, the second baseman, ran out, made a leaping backhand try, missed it by a foot as the ball fell softly on the grass in right center.
Well, like we were saying, it gets breezy and cold, and, you know, everything gets a little drier. It is tough to get a grip on the ball. The pitchers will be able to blow into their hands and also probably lick their fingers to try to keep, you know, a little moisture on their fingers. It's also difficult for the hitters because your hands get cold. And I guarantee you right now, Cozart at first base on that inside cutter, his index finger on that right hand, there's no feeling in that finger right now.
Eugenio Suarez, a right-handed batter, off to a very hot start. Takes the first pitch down low for a ball. Suarez, 4 home runs. And now time called. Cozart at first base is going to be looked at by the trainer and by his manager, Brian Price. Ron, what do you think?
Well, just in looking on the monitor here, they're talking about, I believe it's his knee, but I'm not real sure. He was running down the line, looked like he was running fine about 2/3 of the way down, and then he just kind of slowed up. And you never know in this cold weather, Pat. You just don't know what ends up grabbing it. They're still out on the field talking to him. He's probably trying to talk his way or to keep himself in the lineup, but it sure seems like they want to get him out of there. Maybe not.
Ronnie, when it is cold like this, you always see ball players stretching, limbering up, and doing some exercise before the game. Is that even more important, to stretch a little bit more when it's this cold?
Much more important. A lot of teams will have an exercise bike in the tunnel just for guys to keep their bodies heated up, probably more so than anything, Pat.
Suarez, the batter. Game continues now. Lester just misses low and away. Ball 2. 2-0. No score, just underway. Beautiful Wrigley Field. No green ivy on the outfield walls just yet. Just the brown vines. Normally it's sometime in May, late April, early May, we get the the blossoming of the green ivy. Low and inside, ball 3. But I was going to say Suarez, playing 6 games in Cincinnati where the weather was very cold and windy at times last week, had 4 home runs and 9 RBIs. He's off to a great start. The 3-0 pitch taken for a strike. 3-1. He took over at short a year ago when Zach Cozart suffered the season-ending, I believe it was a knee injury. And we saw a lot of Suarez, and I think we were favorably impressed.
Yeah, Suarez, he probably has the range of more like a third baseman where he is playing. He did a very good job, defensively with the balls hit to him. He can swing the bat, though.
Let's keep an eye on Cozart. No score, top of the first. Swinging a foul back. He takes a nice swing. He really does. The Reds traded their third baseman, Todd Frazier, to the White Sox. They also traded Aroldis Chapman to the Yankees. Johnny Cueto was traded at midseason last year and went to Kansas City. So they're without some of their familiar star performers, but they still have a lot of good ball players. One of them is on deck, Joey Votto. The 3-2 from Lester. And the pitch to Suarez, fouled off to the right and out of play. Lester faced these Reds 4 times a year ago, had 3 no decisions and 1 win. The win came on September 30 in Cincinnati.
Johnny, so far, just trying to get the feeling, Pat, as you said. Seems to me he's still trying to get the feeling of his pitches with his fingertips.
3-2 line drive, caught at third by Bryant. Throw to first, not in time. Chris made a 1-hop throw, an absolute rocket off the bat of Suarez right to Chris Bryant at third. Cozart did not wander too far off the bag. That's out number 1. Cubs get a break. You can't hit a ball any harder.
No, Johnny wants the cutter inside. It stays in the middle of the plate. And Suarez, he put a great swing on that ball, but hit it right at Bryant. Sometimes that's a tough play, Pat. Your first play of the game, you get that line drive, and you're still trying to pick the ball up through the stands here when, it's not dark yet, but it's not quite twilight. It can be a tough play.
Votto chokes up a little bit. Left-handed batter swings away and fouls it away. Votto off to a little slow start, 174. No homers, 3 runs batted in. Last season he was 2 for 9 against John Lester. 400 feet to dead center, 368 to the alleys, 355 to the corner and left, 353 down the line in right. Votto takes inside, 1-1.
Johnny Lester throwing his fastball. He'll be up in the mid-90s with some of those fastballs. Speed Gun today, sponsored by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience television.
Line drive, left center. There's a base hit. Soler will cut it off. Cozart goes to third, and Soler tries to throw to third for some reason. Down to second goes Joey Votto. There was no play at third base.
Yeah, that's a mental mistake by Soler in left field, Pat. The ball's hitting the gap. He goes and gets it, and what I think Soler saw was Cozart jogging around second base, and he obviously has something wrong with his leg. But Soler saw that and threw the ball to third base, and then Cozart kicked it in a little bit, easily got to third. But because of that throw all the way to third base, Votto just jogged into second. So a little mental mistake here in the first inning, and now the Reds got second and third and only 1 out.
Give Votto a single. He goes to second on the throw. Reds at second and third, 1 down. No score, top of the first inning. Brandon Phillips off to a red-hot start, hitting .385. Has the feet spread very wide, wider than shoulder width, and he hits out of a crouch. Cubs keep the infield back. The pitch to Phillips is taken high for ball 1. 2 hits against Lester, and the only out was a solid line drive hit by Suarez to Bryant. Pitchers are allowed to blow on their fingers to generate some warmth and some feeling. Here's a ball outside to Phillips. The count 2-0. You can just tell John is struggling with his command right now. Several of the position players keeping their fingers warm also by blowing on the fingers. The lead at third by Cozart. Votto away from second with his hands on his knees. The pitch to Phillips. Fouled away. 2-1.
Might be the best fastball for Lester today. That one got in on Phillips. Good cut fastball under the hands. Johnny would love if he gets contact. He'd like to throw that cutter down and into Phillips and have Phillips just hit a ground ball to third. That would probably hold the runner at third base, Cozart.
Here comes the 2-1. Down low and in. I think he was thinking about what you were talking about, Ron, trying to keep it down and induce a ground ball. Now it's 3-1. Still some daylight. The lights have been turned on. Wind is blowing toward right. On deck is the right-handed batting catcher, Devin Mesoraco. 3-1. Let's see if Lester can come back to get Phillips. The pitch, line toward short. Russell's going to go to first, a one-hop line drive. Scoring on the play, Cozart. Russell playing back. Out at first is Phillips. Cozart scores. Votto holds at second. Reds lead 1-0. 2 down, and the batter is Mesoraco.
Well, Johnny got the contact in the pull swing that he was looking for, but it ended up going to shortstop. Addison Russell playing just about at the edge of the grass in the infield. Looked at home, but Cozart got a good break on the ball, and the Reds end up scoring the first run of the ballgame.
There are 2 down. Let's see if John now can escape further damage as he faces Devin Mesoraco. The big burly catcher takes inside. The Reds dearly missed this guy a year ago. He had a major problem with his left hip that eventually required surgery, and he was limited to only 23 games. He's got some power. The pitch to Mesoraco is taken outside for a ball. It's 2-0. And now time called. David Ross. He realizes John is not a guy that falls behind a lot of hitters 2-0, but you're seeing it happen here in the first inning. He was 3-0 with Suarez. He was 2-0 with Phillips, and now he's 2-0 with Mesoraco.
Yeah, and he just doesn't seem comfortable so far on the mound. I think the first hitter, Cozart, he missed a couple pitches down. Cozart ended up fisting that ball to right center for a little looper for a single. But Johnny has missed his location and missed it by quite a bit with some of these pitches.
3 infielders to the left of second against Mesoraco. Votto leading at second base. And now the 2-0 pitch from Lester. Mesoraco takes a strike right down the middle. Here's a guy in the number 5 spot in the order. Ron, you were known for your RBIs. Number 5 is an RBI spot, taking a 2-0 pitch with a man in scoring position. Check swing, that'll be a strike. Good breaking ball, the best one that Lester has snapped off so far. It is now 2-2 on Mesoraco.
Nothing frustrates you more, too, as a hitter. When you're in a hitter's count and you're just unsure whether you're going to swing, and you just take a fastball.
And the pitch by Lester. Loop foul down the left field line. Off-speed delivery. But were you as surprised as me that Mesoraco was not swinging 2-0?
I was, because Lester is not known as a guy who can be very erratic. He's in one of them little spells right now where, he doesn't quite have the feeling, and, opening day, maybe a little erratic, some nerves, and just some maybe over adrenaline, pumping through him is just getting him a little erratic. I'm surprised he didn't swing.
Mesoraco waits for the 2-2. Here it comes. Breaking ball in the dirt. Nice block by Ross, keeping the ball in front of him. The ball rolled up the third baseline. Votto had to hold at second. On deck is Jay Bruce, a left-handed batter who has always hit lefties very well. 1-0 Cincinnati, top of the first, 2 down. Reds with 2 hits in the inning. Phillips getting his 4th run batted in on the ground out. And the 3-2. Strike 3 called. Mesoraco thought it was outside. He shakes his head to the home plate umpire, John Tumpane, as he walks.
IBEW Local 134 share in the excitement of opening day, bringing in a new era of renewable energy and electrical solutions. Visit NECA-IBEWChicago.com.
Win a free Bosch dishwasher from Grand Appliance and TV. Like Grand Appliance and TV on Facebook or visit the Bosch brand page of GrandApplianceandTV.com for your chance to win.
Hey, this is Jason Hayward, and you're listening to Cubs Baseball on Sports Radio 670 The Score, Chicago's radio home of the Cubs.
The Cubs leadoff man is Dexter Fowler, and the leadoff man is presented by Benny's Beverage Depot. If Dexter Fowler gets a hit, Benny's Beverage Depot donates $100 to the Greater Chicagoland Food Depository. Fowler will be followed by Hayward and Bryant as we get our first look at Brandon Finnegan. As I say that, he may have worked in relief and faced only 2 or 3 batters late last season, but this is certainly the first start that he has ever made against the Cubs. And Ron, this guy was one of the players that came from Kansas City in the Johnny Cueto trade. Fowler hits a fly ball to right. Back goes Bruce with room, and Jay Bruce, the left-handed right fielder, makes the catch. Out number 1. But how do you get your hits against Finnegan?
Well, Finnegan's a guy who's got a good arm, Pat. He's got a riding fastball. So he's not going to sink many fastballs. They're going to stay true and maybe ride up a little bit or have that appearance. He's got a pretty good breaking ball and changeup. So to me, he's one of them good young quality pitchers. To me, early in the ball game, the same thing with Lester. You got to see if he's got command of the fastball, and I would hit off his fastball here early in the game.
Jason Hayward hitting .250 after the first week, making his Cubs Wrigley Field debut. Of course, he played many games here as a Cardinal and a Brave. He takes outside from Finnegan. The young left-hander comes back. Line toward left center, toward the gap. On the run, Duvall, the left fielder, dives and makes a great catch. Duvall, the left fielder, angling back toward the track in left center, dove, did a belly flop, and made a sensational catch for out number 2.
Hayward hits this ball well. And Duvall going to the gap right in front of the 368 marker, right in front of the track. And I believe, Pat, the wind helped him a little bit. That ball started slicing back towards him because, as you said earlier, the wind is blowing towards that right field corner. Might have knocked the ball down and blew it back to him, but a very nice catch by the young left fielder Duvall.
Both Fowler and Hayward have hit the ball hard, but 2 outs, nobody on for Bryant. He drives one to deep center. Back goes Billy Hamilton. He makes the catch. Hard to hit a homer to dead center tonight. 3 hard hit balls by the Cubs, but they go 1. Lester, lefty against lefty, power against power. Here's the first pitch. Bounce back to the mound on 1 delivery. Lester's got it. Underhand to Rizzo, and that's out number 1. Bruce went after the first pitch. Bruce played the role of hero yesterday for Cincinnati with a game-winning, run-scoring triple in the bottom of the 9th inning to beat the Pittsburgh Pirates. 1 down. Here's Adam Duvall. Boy, that was a fine catch this Duvall made in left field.
Boy, big-time catch. He got a good jump. I really thought that ball was going to get to the gap. But he laid out right in front of the track, made a nice play.
Reds lead 1-0, second inning. Duvall, a right-handed batter, takes a strike, and it's 0-1.
Kind of surprised with the at-bat from Jay Bruce after some of the command issues in the first inning for John. You know, and it could be just, a little adrenaline rush in that first inning at the home opener. But swinging first pitch.
Here's a swing and a foul out of play. I guess one thing that comes to mind is, Ron, the fact that Bruce has hit a lot of home runs against left-handed pitching, and maybe he was guessing that he would get a certain pitch, and maybe it broke a little bit away from him. But for him to be aggressive against left-handed pitching is not that surprising in that regard. But you're right, Lester was wobbly in the first inning with his command. Broken back ground ball to Bryant. He's got it. at third. High throw. Rizzo reaches up and pulls it down. We mentioned it's hard for pitchers to get a great grip on throwing deliveries from the mound. Likewise for position players making throws on the infield and from the outfield.
Yeah, it is definitely important for the position players to keep their fingertips warm on their throwing hand. A lot of guys will put one of those hand warmers in their back pocket, and you'll see them go to their back pocket in between pitches just to keep their fingertips warm. But that ball sailed a little bit on Bryant.
Finnegan, the left-handed batting pitcher, will take a strike. Reds got a run on Brandon Phillips, run-scoring grounder in the first. Both teams are 5-1. Swing and a miss. Good sharp bender. It's 0-2. Finnegan, the pitcher for the Reds tonight, is a youngster from Fort Worth, Texas. Still lives there. 5'11", 200-pounder. Attended Texas Christian University. Strike three call. Lester gets his second strikeout.
Lounge-style seating, unlimited beverages, and access 2 hours prior to first pitch. For more information, visit Cubs.com/Premier. Pat Hughes.
Okay, thanks, Mark. The Cubs run had some good swings in the first inning. Everybody made solid contact, but nothing fell in. Let's see if a few of those good swings lead to some base hits and a possible rally in the second. Anthony Rizzo first up. The wind has shifted. Lefty to lefty, Rizzo takes a fastball at the knees for a strike. Now the wind is blowing straight in, not real hard, but no longer will a ball to right necessarily get any carry. Finnegan coming back. Rizzo hits a smash foul down the third base line.
So far in this game, Finnegan has really just relied on that heater, Pat. And he's got a good one. It looks like the ball just jumps out of his hand. He's got that real quiet windup. Somewhat similar, only left-handed to Jake Arrieta. But he has good life on that fastball.
Here's a foul off to the left out of play. Finnegan was the Kansas City Royals' #1 draft pick. He was 17th overall just 2 years ago. He's a young guy. He will be 23 on Thursday. 2 years ago, he was drafted and in the same year appeared in the World Series for the Royals. Rizzo pops it up shallow center. Coming in is Hamilton on the run. He slides and makes the catch. The wind started to grab that ball and pull it back toward the infield, and Hamilton initially misjudged it slightly, but his great speed able to compensate and make the play.
Hamilton, one of those guys, I really don't know if there's anybody faster than Hamilton in the league. And when he kicks it into gear, he can go get him in center field, and he can just flat out outrun balls, and he did that there.
1-0 Reds, second inning. Here's Ben Zobrist. Batting right-handed, takes low and inside. But Finnegan run, when he appeared in the World Series, became the only player ever to appear in the NCAA College World Series, which he did for Texas Christian University, and then the World Series in the same year. There is a strike, and it's 1-1. Overall, he made 7 postseason relief appearances during Kansas City's 2014 American League Championship run before they lost to the Giants in the World Series. Zobrist bounces one off the hands to short. A charging Cozart throws him out at first, 2 down. Pretty good pitch.
Yeah, good pitch, good fastball. That's that same fastball we're talking about. Starts out in off the plate and then runs to the inside corner. But Finnegan, a guy with a very good arm. How about that year? That would be a pretty good 2014. College World Series in Omaha, and then go right to the big leagues. And just to say you go to the big leagues is saying something, much less play in the World Series.
Yeah, he actually got into, 2 World Series games, a couple of League Championship Series games against Baltimore, and 2 games against the Angels in the opening Division Series round, the best of 5. So they thought very highly of him. Here is Jorge Soler. 1-0 Reds, second inning. Jorge swings and misses. He had the home run that snapped the tie yesterday. His home run in the 6th inning was the one that allowed the Cubs to take the lead, and they never looked back on their way to the 7-3 win. That's his first homer of the year. He swings and bounces it foul left side. We'll be making our attendance picks in the Nuveen Investments attendance game. Soler awaiting the pitch from Finnegan. And here comes the 1-2, and it's upstairs for a ball, 2-2. I'll go ahead and guess 41,014. You want to take a shot, Ron or Mark? Who's up for it?
Go ahead, Mark.
Okay.
The 2-2 bounces in there, ball 3.
I'm going to say 42,321.
And Ron?
I will say 42,000.
Flat?
Flat.
There we
Just
go.
Flat.
They're all locked in. Here's the 3-2. Soler pokes it foul off to the right, out of play.
Isn't the Mark Grody rule in effect there? Isn't that within 50 of my guess?
No. You said.
No, it's within 321 of your guess.
Maybe I misheard. Or maybe I don't do math well.
That could
Ding,
very
ding,
well
ding,
be.
ding, ding.
Carry on.
3 balls and 2, but thanks for asking. 3-2 on Soler. He pulls the ground ball to third, scooped up by Suarez, and he zings it across the diamond in time to Votto to end the inning. Cubs without a base runner so far. Everyone putting the ball in play, but nothing falling. And all of a sudden, the Reds are on a 4-game winning streak. We go to the third inning. Billy Hamilton, diminutive switch hitter, batting right-handed with bright white batting gloves in each hand, swings away and fouls it away. This guy can absolutely fly on the bases. Lester's 0-1 to Hamilton is a strike. Billy 4 for 5 in his career against John Lester. The corner infielders, Bryant at third, Rizzo at first, still playing shallow, even with 2 strikes on the batter. Now Lester with that quiet motion fires outside for a ball.
Well, Hamilton has that ability, Pat, to just try to slap the ball on the ground and run. So, and then what happens with the 2 corner infielders playing in that little dribbler ground ball that we've seen him hit a lot, at least they got a chance to make a play.
Fly ball left field, pretty well hit. Back toward the track is Soler. He's near the wall, leaping, and that ball is in the basket for a home run. Amazingly, Billy Hamilton has homered to left. I just happened to look at the flags as that ball landed in the basket, and the flags at that moment were blowing toward left field. I think the wind had a little something to do with it. He hit it well. But if you think the way the wind was blowing earlier on, which is to say the opposite direction, I wouldn't have believed that in the third inning somebody could homer to left, let alone Billy Hamilton. 2-0 Cincinnati. Cozart bounces one back to Lester. He grabs it, runs toward Rizzo, and underhands it to Anthony for out number 1.
Well, 2 innings ago, the ball that Hayward hit in the bottom of the first got knocked down, no doubt about it. Same thing with the ball that was hit by Bryant to center field. Both of them got knocked down. And that ball just seemed to keep carrying. Hamilton hit it well, but it really didn't get knocked down at all by the wind, as you said. And, you know, maybe it'll be a little better hitter's day now that the wind is dying down.
It's still chilly, but not nearly as windy as it was earlier. Eugenio Suarez, who lined out his first time, takes a strike. For Hamilton, his first home run. That's not his first big league homer. We've seen him hit others. Curveball in for a strike. 0-2. For Billy Hamilton, career home run number 11. And the 0-2. Here's a fly ball into shallow left center. Routine for Soler, and that's out number 2.
Good pitch by John. That's the cut fastball inside. Suarez couldn't quite get the barrel to it. And that's the one thing with Johnny throwing that cut fastball. Every now and then, if you leave it just out over the plate enough and a hitter's looking for it, like Hamilton was, he can keep it fair. He can open up a little early and try to get the barrel out to the ball a little earlier and keep that ball fair.
Joey Votto takes a strike. Votto had a single, which sent Cozart to third in the first inning. Cozart then scored on Phillips' sharp ground out. 2-0 Cincinnati, third inning. Curveball low and outside, it's 1-1. Both teams making decent contact in the early going. Here comes the 1-1 from Lester, down low for a ball. Just getting started in this series. No game tomorrow. Wednesday night and Thursday night, the series will continue. John Lackey against Alfredo Simon on Wednesday night. Jason Hamill opposing Raisel Iglesias Thursday evening. Both games at 7:05. Votto dribbles it foul toward third. Nice to be back with our outstanding engineer Dave Miska at the controls. Dave does home games only. Always good to get back to Wrigley and work with David. Lester taking a little extra time. Now the 2-2. Votto takes down low, 3-2. Votto will not chase too many balls out of the strike zone.
No, Joey's got a great eye, one of the best in the game, and really takes pride in having his at-bats go long and deep into counts. And then he's also one of the guys that's not afraid to choke up with 2 strikes. He goes way up on the bat.
That's what he's doing right now. He hits a ground ball to short, scooped up by Russell, throws to Rizzo to end the inning. Billy Hamilton leads off the inning with a home run, however, and the Reds now lead 2 hits so far. Addison Russell first up against Brandon Finnegan, and he hits a drive into left center. On the run is Duvall, the left fielder near the track, makes the catch. Another good swing, decent contact, but it's out number 1.
Well, I think Eddie just got that ball just off the end of the bat a little bit as that fastball started fading away from Russell. And he hits it good, has good trajectory, but just enough off the end to keep it in the ballpark. Duvall caught it in front of the garage doors in left center on the track.
Here's David Ross, former Cincinnati Reds catcher, facing Brandon Finnegan, and the pitch. Bounce toward third, foul past Suarez.
Yeah, it's kind of a strange wind. We've had it blowing hard during batting practice towards the right field corner. Totally changed now, kind of blowing across almost towards the Cubs dugout from the right field stands. Definitely a change.
Ross looks at a ball down low. It's even. Cincinnati leading 2-0. John Lester on deck. Mentioned Finnegan acquired in the Johnny Cueto trade with Kansas City last summer. Breaking ball outside, and that's a difficult deal for a team like Kansas City to make. Here's a young guy, 22 years old. He was their number 1 pick just 2 years ago. Obviously, they valued him by putting him into World Series play his very first year after signing his deal. Outside to Ross, 3-1. But the Royals thought that by getting a guy like Johnny Cueto, he could propel them to a World Series championship. Yeah. And he did help do exactly that. Ross takes outside ball 4. But those are always interesting trades, Ron, because you have the big name, Johnny Cueto, going one way, and 3 guys that nobody has ever heard of going the other way. But after a few years, those no-names become big names.
Well, it's exactly correct. And, you know, Finnegan's a guy, to me, Pat, you're rolling the dice because Kansas City only, it seemed like, borrowed Cueto for a short period of time.
Lester fouls it away. Ross becomes the first base runner, Ron.
And it's really a big roll of the dice. But when the roll of the dice comes up in your favor and you end up winning a World Series, all is forgotten now. This may end up being a bad trade for Kansas City down the road, but nobody will ever forget the World Series championship.
Lester showing bunt, pulls the bat back and takes a strike, and it's 0-2. And Cueto now with the San Francisco Giants, so he was not with Kansas City for very long. But I remember some real good postseason performances. Didn't he stymie the Mets on like 2 hits over 8 innings in maybe game 2 of the series?
Yep,
does that sound
I believe
right?
It was game 2, right?
Here comes the 0-2 now to Lester, down low for a ball. Johnny Cueto yesterday with his new team, the Giants, facing the Dodgers in San Francisco, gave up 5 runs to L.A. in the first inning and still managed to get the win in a wild 9-6 Giants win, come from behind over the Dodgers.
Well, it was a lot like John Lackey. He gave up some runs early in the game, but settled into the game as his offense is able to score some runs and keep the game somewhat close. And those guys know how to pitch, and they can keep you in a game.
Here's a ball that gets away from the catcher Mesoraco, and down to second goes David Ross. It was a low breaking ball. It squirted between the legs of the catcher Mesoraco. It is scored as a wild pitch.
Yeah, it might be a wild pitch, but Mesoraco, I'm sure he feels like he should have blocked this ball. It just goes right through the 5-hole. He gets to his knees, but he doesn't jam that glove down between his legs to the ground. And the ball just scoots through him. This is one of the better defensive catchers in the game, a tough guy behind home plate. Yeah, that doesn't happen too often.
Lester had a home run in spring training. John, a big man. And the 2-2 to Lester. Down low, 3-2. Finnegan a little wobbly all of a sudden. He walked David Ross, the number 8 hitter, and now it's full on the pitcher Lester with Dexter Fowler to follow. 2-0 Cincinnati, 3rd inning, 1 away. The lead by Ross. Ball 4. Wow. That I did not expect. Wasn't he ahead of Lester 0-2?
0-2. Johnny took a swing and took a fastball, and Finnegan just didn't come close after that. So kind of a surprise back-to-back walks here in the bottom of the 3rd. And he's had good command of the fastball so far in the game.
Now the Cubs get their second looks at Finnegan as the batting order will begin again. The leadoff man Fowler flied to deep right in the first inning. And the pitch to Dexter, down low, ball 1. Time called by Mesoraco. And the flag's just hanging in center. If you hit a sharp liner or even a high fly ball, it has a chance to leave the yard right now, Ron.
It's cool and crisp here at Wrigley. The wind was the only thing that was really the factor early in the game, or else the Cubs might have a couple hits and a couple extra base hits. But now with the flags just kind of limp in center field, Fowler tags one into left center. This could go out of here.
The lefty deals, and Fowler takes a strike on a change. Boy, the left fielder Duvall not very deep, nor is Hamilton in center. Bruce about medium deep in right. Ross leads at second, Lester away from first. Fowler takes down low. It's 2-1. And I just saw Finnegan do what a lot of pitchers do when they're missing down low. They look at the landing area as if their foot is striding a little too far. It throws them out of whack, and their release point is just out of kilter temporarily, and they miss downstairs.
Yeah, it's like their cleats grab just a little early, and their arm gets out in front of them and just drives that ball down.
Now the 2-1 to Fowler, and Dexter swings and misses. Off-speed pitch. He might have chased a pitch down low.
Pat, that's that veteran presence behind home plate. Mesoraco knowing that Finnegan is a little erratic. 2-1 count. Fowler's probably looking for the heater, and he goes with the changeup. Good pitch.
Cubs trail 2-0. 2 men on, 1 away. Bottom of the 3rd. And the 2-2. Down low, and it's full. Jason Hayward is on deck. Ross does not have great speed at second. I'd be surprised if they're running. How about you?
Yeah, I can't imagine him running in this situation. You got your catcher and your pitcher on base.
Sellout crowd at Wrigley, and they are starting to make some noise. And the 3-2 from Finnegan. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Fowler strikes out. Again, an off-speed pitch by the young left-hander Finnegan. And that's out number 2, and it's up to Jason Hayward.
Well, he's a little erratic with the fastball. Missed, obviously, some to Ross, and then really 3 in a row to Lester that didn't come close. And Mesoraco doing what, veteran catchers will do. They'll just change the game plan a little bit and make a pitcher throw some of his off-speed pitches. And what that does, Pat, sometimes it settles down your body. You slow down a little bit, and Finnegan made 2 good pitches to Fowler.
Jason Hayward fly to left in the opening inning, and he'll look at a strike, and it's 0-1. Russell flied to deep left, then back-to-back walks to Ross and Lester. Fowler has struck out. 2 outs, 2 on, 2-0 Cincinnati, third inning. Runners take their leads, and now the lefty is set. The 0-1. Fastball strike on the inside. And now it's 0-2.
All of a sudden, after a few breaking balls in a row, or a few off-speed pitches in a row, really, there were changeups. Now the fastball is back on target. Fastball away to Hayward, and that last one, a fastball in.
And the strike 2 delivery outside. Mesoraco kind of stabbing at the ball, almost like he got crossed up slightly. Maybe not. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cubs have lost 5 consecutive home openers. Last time they had a win was 2010 in their first Wrigley game of the year. Swinging a foul at the plate. Hayward had a good rip, fouled it off the mask of Mesoraco. Cubs beat Milwaukee 9-5 in their 2010 season opener. They lost to the Cardinals a year ago. Thinking of openers, the Reds were the first visiting team ever to play the Cubs on an opening day at the ballpark. Was not even known as Wrigley Field in those days. It was Weigman Park. April 20th, 1916, the first game ever for the Cubs in this park. The Reds were the opposition. The Cubs were a winner that day, 7-6 in 11 innings. Now Hayward takes the ball. He gets through Mesoraco, and runners advance to second and third. I mentioned a minute ago I thought Mesoraco was crossed up. I kind of had a similar feeling on that pitch, Ron.
Yeah, something just doesn't seem right to me, Pat. Mesoraco, to me, has missed a couple pitches and just, I don't know if getting hit by the foul tip this last one or a couple hitters earlier. He got hit with one that ended up going to the backstop, but he just doesn't seem right behind the plate right now.
Pass ball. 2 men in scoring position. Here's a foul off to the left and out of play. Now a base hit could tie the game. Jason Hayward has 3 runs batted in so far. 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's turning into a laborious third inning for Brandon Finnegan. 2 outs, 2 on, and the 2-2. Hayward takes just inside ball 3. Finnegan thought he had him. Hayward, another guy with an excellent batting eye. He's not going to be chasing a lot of bad balls.
That was a breaking ball inside. Started out in off the plate. Finnegan thought it caught the corner. Just in off the plate.
The 3-2. Fouled at the plate. That was a tough pitch. Looked like it was breaking low and away to the left-handed batter, and somehow Jason just got a piece.
That's the 3rd ball this inning. That's it. Mesoraco. One hit him directly in the mask. One, I think, was a glancing blow off the mask that went to the backstop. And now this one got him pretty good, too.
Lefty against lefty. Finnegan against Hayward. Runners lead at second and third. The 3-2. Bouncing ball toward the shortstop. Cozart behind the bag. Gloves it and throws out Hayward to end the inning. Cozart was shaded over near. Reds 2, Cubs nothing. Fourth inning. Cincinnati with single tallies in the first and third. Brandon Phillips first up, swings at a change, doesn't get it, 0-1. If you're just joining us, the Reds had singles from Cozart and Votto in the opening inning, and that set up the run, which Phillips drove in with a bouncer to short. Billy Hamilton then slugged a home run to left to lead off the third. Phillips picked up an RBI with his one-hop ground out to short in the first inning. He takes low and in, 1-1. Cubs left a couple of men in scoring position, but that inning was a struggle for Brandon Finnegan. Here's a good change by Lester, swung on and missed, 1-2.
Phillips not expecting that good running fastball away from him. He got the changeup in the first pitch, and then that one actually, the velocity, kind of like a BP fastball running away.
There's the 1-2 just outside. Lester with a couple of strikeouts so far. John struck out 14 members of the Colorado Rockies in late July in a hot day game here at Wrigley last year, and that was an all-time record for the most by a Cubs left-hander in one game. Bounced foul left side, still 2-2.
Johnny's one of those guys, Pat, when he really gets that cutter going and he throws it backdoor to the righties and then he runs it down and in, and then he throws it the same way on both sides of the plate to the lefties. Once he gets that pitch really going well, he really makes it tough, because then he can throw slower breaking balls off of it and the changeup. And that day, if I remember right, he had both sides of the plate covered with the cutter, and then he was also running that fastball away from the righties. Just had great command.
There's the 2-2. Swung on and pulled foul. And that was about the time of the year when the Cubs really took off. That was a key win, as they all were. But right after that game, the Cubs went up to Milwaukee. Anthony Rizzo had a 3-run homer in Game 1 in the 8th inning against Will Smith. Cubs went on to sweep all 4 games at Miller Park. Then they went to Pittsburgh and I think split 2. There was a rain out also. Here's the 2-2. Driven to right, foul and out of play. And then right after that, the Giants came here for a 4-game series. Cubs started playing their best ball of the year. The Cubs swept another 4-game series. And from then on, they were very hard to beat.
Yeah, they get great pitching. They were bombing away offensively. The offense came alive in that second half.
A 2-2 from John Lester to Brandon Phillips. Line towards center. There's a base hit. Phillips went out, reaching for a pitch near the outside, and lines it into center. 3rd inning out of 4 in which the Reds have had a leadoff base hit. 2-0 Cincy, and the batter is Mesoraco.
That was that backdoor cutter we were talking about. It ended up about mid-thigh and caught a little too much of the plate. And Phillips, who's off to a very good start this season, came into the game hitting .385 with a bomb, and he's got an RBI and a base hit today.
Big lead at first by Phillips. He's not running. Mesoraco takes outside ball 1. It certainly looked like Brandon was going to be trying to steal.
Would not surprise me if he does not run on this pitch. Ross is going to try to pick him off first base. He's got a big lead at first.
He's not running. Here's the pitch fouled away. Rizzo not holding him on the bag. Anthony is right next to Phillips as he takes his lead, but Anthony's about 8 feet off the line, away from the bag. Two 2-0 Reds, 4th inning. A man at first, nobody Nobody out. Here's a swing and a foul off to the right by Mesoraco, and the count 1-2.
Well, there was a time Phillips was really a big base stealer and liked to run. Now you just don't see that as part of his game, obviously, because he has a big lead at first base.
Mesoraco called out on strikes to end the first inning. Phillips dancing away from first, not going. Here's a pitch pulled foul on the ground toward third. Some of the teams are off today. A lot of games took place earlier today. Mark Grody updating and tracking all of the other big league activity for you. Baltimore remains undefeated at 6-0 as they spoiled the Red Sox home opener. 9-7 Baltimore at Fenway. 6-0. One ball and two strikes. The pitch to Mesoraco outside for a ball. Very few things are as important early in the year as a fast start for your ball club. The whole team starts thinking like a winning team, and you start taking the field every day thinking you're going to win.
Yeah, there's a belief there that you're going to do something right every day to win a game.
Mesoraco hits a bouncer toward the middle off the body of Lester. Taken by Russell, throws to first in time. Safe at second is Phillips. The body of Lester slowed down that smash hit by Mesoraco, and a nice play by Phillips. By Russell, rather, to get one as Phillips slid into second base.
Yeah, it looked like Addison wanted to let this ball get to him one more hop to where he could possibly get a force. But the ball was just dying in the grass after it hit off of Lester. So a nice play by Russell to at least get the out.
Not sure where that got Lester. It was in the lower leg somewhere, I think. Could you tell on the replay?
It almost looked like it got him in the shoe, pattered just off the heel.
2-0 Cincy. Here's Jay Bruce. He looks at a curve for a strike, 0-1. Bruce retired on a bouncer back to the mound his first time. No breeze. The flag's just hanging. The next offering, off the outside edge. It's 1-1. Baltimore, the only undefeated team in the big leagues. Minnesota now nothing. Well, they're 0-7. The White Sox spoiled the Twins' home opener in the Twin Cities. 4-1 the final up there. Time called by Bruce. Bruce 2 for 11 lifetime against Lester.
The Baltimore club, they get a big veteran presence. They kept their first baseman, Davis. They signed Pedro Alvarez to hit in the middle of the lineup and be their designated hitter.
Swing and a miss. Runner goes. Throw to third. He is safe. The throw by Ross to the inside of the bag. Bryant had to come off the base to make the catch. He tried to tag the headfirst sliding Phillips going by. Safe, the call by umpire Alan Porter. And we're going to wait to see if the Cubs want to challenge that call. I think it was a good call. I don't think Chris was able to reach the runner on his tag attempt. That's what I saw. How about you?
I haven't seen anything to dispute what you're saying, Pat. It was, if he does tag him where the ball took him towards fair territory, he would be out. But I have not seen a replay yet that showed where Bryant tagged him, and now we're getting a good replay here, and it just doesn't look like Chris tagged him before Phillips hit the bag.
Now you've got one out and a man at third. Phillips gets the stolen base. And Bruce with a count of 1-2, so a big pitch for Lester coming up right now. Here it is. Curve down low, 2-2. Reds already lead by a couple. Bruce with a lot of quality at-bats against left-handed pitching. The big left-handed batter waiting for the 2-2. Here it comes. Low and outside, 3-2 with Duvall on deck.
Bruce is one of those guys that can sit on a breaking ball from a left-hander and let that ball get to him. Most guys get fooled by the speed of the pitch or the break of it, and they're out in front. Bruce is a guy that can let the ball get to him and can end up hooking that ball for a home run.
He swings and misses, strike 3. Might have been a good sinking fastball of some kind. It looked down low from up here. Big strikeout for Lester, his third of the night and his most important one. Fans won't strike out with Gold Coast Bank. Visit goldcoastbank.net today. 2 down, and it brings up Adam Duvall. Infield back.
I just like the idea that David Ross, going through the signals, did not go with one of them off-speed pitches or something slow. And it seemed like it surprised Bruce, the heater, and he threw it past him.
And it was one of those pitches that is very tempting, Ron, for an RBI guy like Bruce. It's close enough to the zone, you hate to take it, and yet you know you're probably swinging at a ball that would have been ball 4.
Yeah, when you first see it, you go fastball, you start to attack, and then by the time you start to put your swing on it, it's down out of the zone.
Duvall takes outside. 2-0 Cincinnati. A lot of baseball left. Only the 4th inning. Lester at 68 pitches so far. And now the 1-0. Outside for a ball. Looks like they are working around Duvall with the pitcher Finnegan on deck. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, Ross went out to the mound to talk to Lester in between hitters, and David sitting in the left-handed batter's box.
This is basically an intentional walk. I don't think they have any intention of putting a ball over the plate for Duvall. The count has now run to 3-0, and here comes ball 4. Ross lined up way outside. Now let me ask you this. Why not just walk the man intentionally?
Well, I think, David, maybe you get the first couple pitches where he may be able to chase something, and then you get ahead of him. But after the first couple, David just sat way outside and just ended up letting Duvall take his base on 4 fastballs away.
2 men on, 2 down for Brandon Finnegan. Lefty against lefty, pitcher against pitcher. The first offering is a strike, 0-1. The Reds have had 4 hits in the game against Lester. Cubs have not yet had a base hit. They've hit the ball hard a few times. Here comes the 0-1. Dribbled foul toward third. It's 0-2. Phillips led off the inning with a single. Moved up on Mesoraco's ground out. Stole third with Bruce batting. After Bruce struck out, Duvall has drawn a base on balls. And now it's 0-2 on the pitcher, Finnegan. Lester fires. Line in the left center field, a base hit. That is going to drive in 1. Rounding third is Duvall holding on a long single by Finnegan. Great stop by Fowler in left center. And now it is 3-0 Cincinnati. A surprise run-scoring base hit by the Reds pitcher.
It's a fastball by Lester, a 4-seam fastball. Kind of that angled fastball away from the left-handed hitter. And it ends up, it's actually in a pretty good place. Down and away. And Finnegan just reaches out and just sticks the bat out there and puts the barrel on it. Hits it right in the gap for an RBI.
3-0 Reds. Billy Hamilton, the batter, homered his first time and takes a strike. Fowler had to really hustle over from center, way over into deep left center, and make a running backhand stop of that ball. If he doesn't get it, certainly Duvall will score. Duvall ended up at third on the single by Finnegan. Now Anthony Rizzo looking into the Cubs dugout, wondering if they want him to hold Finnegan or play behind him. He's not going to hold the runner. Hamilton, though, a threat to late on a bunt, so Rizzo can't play very deep. Bryant in on the grass at third. Ball 1-1 to Hamilton. A long inning for Lester. The 1-1 by John. Line toward left. Coming in is Soler to make the catch to end the inning. The Reds score a run on 2 hits and a walk.
Washington 5, Atlanta 4, end of 6 innings. Daniel Murphy is homered for the Nats.
Very good. Thank you, Mark Grody. Let's see if the Cubs can get a little rally going now. They have not had a base hit. They trail 3-0. Chris Bryant first up, takes a strike, 0-1. Rizzo and Zobrist to follow. Here's the pitch on the way to Bryant. Fouled away off to the right.
Joe Madden today making a little lineup change. Not that the lineup needed a lot of changing with the way the Cubs have been scoring runs. As you said earlier, Pat, 7 runs a ball game they're averaging. But Chris Bryant getting moved into the 3-hole. I think Joe just liked the power pitcher of Finnegan against Bryant.
Bryant takes strike 3 called, a fastball on the inside corner. Finnegan notches his second strikeout. Cubs trail by 3, and here's Anthony Rizzo.
Well, Mesoraco sets up and out, wanting this ball high. He gets it high, but it's inside, and it ends up coming back over the plate for strike 3. Not many times you see a pitch called at the top of the zone with the fastball, but that one caught the plate.
Finnegan, not a big guy by contemporary big league baseball standards, 5'11", weighs 200 pounds. Missing down low to Rizzo. Anthony retired on a fly ball to center his first time. Lefty to lefty. Rizzo looks at a strike at the knees. The new shortstop for Cincinnati is Ivan DeJesus Jr. Zach Cozart leaving the game. We'll get the exact reason why shortly. The trainer and the manager Price were out looking at Cozart earlier. In fact, that was after the first at-bat of the game. Cozart singled and might have done something to a leg running down the first base line. Here comes the 2-1 to Anthony. It misses for ball 3. 3-1.
This could be a good pitch for Anthony to sit on a fastball. Something hard, either fastball or slider.
Ball 4. Cubs have a man on with 1 away. 4th inning. 3rd walk issued by Brandon Finnegan. Finnegan making his 2nd start of the season. He worked against the Phillies in his first start last Wednesday. Worked 6 innings, charged with 2 earned runs. But he struck out 9 and walked only 1. Had no decision, but pitched well. Here is Ben Zobrist. Ben lines one toward short, caught by DeJesus, throws to first, not in time. Almost looked like DeJesus didn't know how many outs there were. I didn't see a real sense of urgency grabbing it and throwing it quickly from DeJesus.
No, he catches this ball going towards the middle and then just kind of sees Rizzo off the bag and kind of flips it over to first. But yet kind of an odd play by the shortstop DeJesus.
Had he thrown it immediately, he might have doubled Rizzo off first. Here's Jorge Soler, swinging and missing, 0-1. Cubs could use a long ball right now. Soler belted a big home run yesterday in Phoenix. Soler grounded out to third his first time up. There's a ball outside, a changeup. The lights have taken full effect. It always cools off a little bit when the sun goes all the way down. It was 48 at game time. And now the 1-1. Swung on and missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes. This is my 21st home opener for the Cubs, Ron. All things considered, this weather is not bad.
Boy, we'll take this. We're talking about different opening days that we've been a part of with the cold, the rain, the snow, the ice. And this is pretty good here. 50 degrees during the day, and it's definitely reasonable tonight.
Down low, it's 2-2. Cubs had a scoring chance in the third. They had men at second and third with 2 outs, but Hayward grounded out to short to end the inning. Rizzo has walked here in the fourth. Cubs have hit probably 5 or 6 balls right on the money so far, just nothing falling in. There's only one thing to do, just keep on swinging. Sooner or later they will start to fall in. The 2-2. Chopped foul by Soler.
I was watching Georgie today in the cage, the new cage that we've seen, the new batting cage for the Cubs. In the new clubhouse is where the old clubhouse was, so they got a nice big cage. Talking to John Maley about the work of Jorge Soler. These guys put in a lot of time with John Maley and Eric Hinsky.
The next offering is down. The pitch count now beginning to elevate for Finnegan. He's up to 58 pitches. Still only in the 4th inning. Now, you know he doesn't want to walk Soler. That would bring the tying run to the plate, Addison Russell. Let's see if Jorge gets something to drive. Rizzo ready to ramble on 3-2. And there he goes. The pitch swung on, hit in the air to center. Shallow and playable for Hamilton. And the inning comes to an end. Cubs don't score. We go to the 5th. Reds 3, Cubs nothing.
There we go. First hitter for the Reds, Ivan De Jesus Jr., who came into the game last inning for Cozart, starting shortstop for the Reds after a base hit. In his first at-bat, Cozart got to first base. Something was wrong with, I believe it's his knee. Stayed in the game. First pitch for a strike from Lester. Stayed in the game, scored a run, but then ended up coming out a couple innings later. It's a cool night here in Chicago. Thank you for joining us on a Cubs home opener. Next pitch from John Lester. Along with Pat Hughes, as you just heard my other booth partner, Mark Grody, and Dave Miskett. It's great to be back at the friendly confines here at Wrigley Field. We had a chance earlier today to go see the Cubs' new clubhouse. 30,000 square feet of clubhouse as this pitch is fouled back by De Jesus.
I think it's immaculate, isn't it?
It is absolutely incredible. It's one of those things that when you've been around Wrigley for a long time, like I have, either as a player, a visiting player, broadcaster, or just as a fan, as a young kid, the next pitch by Lester is fouled off. Count has stayed at 0-2. Johnny's mixed in a couple breaking balls against De Jesus. But you go into the clubhouse, and it's like a different world in there. It is everything you'd ever want as a player is in that clubhouse. And once again, the 0-2, and this ball is hit routinely to right. Hayward now coming in a little bit as he went back originally, but in medium-deep right field for the first out of the inning. Cubs down 3-0 here in the top of the 5th inning, and it'll bring up Suarez. He's 0 for 2 on the day. But now, Pat, you have not been in the clubhouse yet?
Not yet. Correct? I was thinking of either after the game or possibly Wednesday before that game. I knew it would be absolutely jammed today. Right. Opening day always is.
1 out for John Lester. He's down 3-0. He paints the outside corner to Suarez. And now Ross going out to the mound. I don't know if they're just not together with what they want to throw. John has been a little bit erratic today. He had a great first start. And today, I think early in the ballgame, it was cold, it was breezy. His command was just a little erratic. He's given up 3 runs here with 1 out here in the 5th. But he's been able to pitch out of one issue and gave up the home run to Hamilton. And now this pitch is a good fastball away. Might be the best 4-seam fastball running away from a right-hander Johnny has thrown today.
The bottom of the order has surprised him with 2 big blows. Billy Hamilton, a solo home run from the number 9 spot, and the pitcher, Finnegan, hitting 8th single to drive in a run. Both were somewhat unexpected.
Next pitch is another 4-seam fastball inside, just missed the corner. And the count will go to 1-2. Cincinnati with 5 hits. Cubs still don't have a hit in the ballgame. Lester with a long look in, and here comes next pitch, swing and a miss. Suarez gets tagged out by David Ross. Nice block by David on that cutter down and in. That's the second out of the inning, and it'll bring up Joey Votto. Votto off to a slow start. He's got a base hit in this ball game, but coming into the ball game only hitting 174. And he is one of the few guys, Pat, on this ball club that is off to a bad start. His team is 5-1 after losing, as you talked about, 3 high-end free agents this winter. Votto takes the first pitch for a strike. And they've been swinging the bats well and getting pretty decent pitching.
Ron, I remember the trading deadline last year. Jay Bruce and Brandon Phillips.
As that pitch misses down and he counts 1-1.
They were both rumored to be heading elsewhere. Neither man left. Votto was signed to a long contract, something like going into the year 2022 or something like that. So he's not going anywhere.
The 1-1 to Votto, a little breaking ball away, 2-1.
But Frazier left as got traded to the White Sox. Cueto was traded. Chapman was traded. So even though they've made some big deals, they've maintained somewhat of the nucleus of their team with Votto, Phillips, and Bruce. You've still got Mesoraco.
4 pretty good players.
Shortstop.
This next pitch is fouled away. Count goes to 2-2.
And what they do have is a very young starting rotation.
With good arms, too. Mm-hmm. Now, in talking to our fellow broadcasters here and also talking to some of the scouts, they're very high on the young pitching of Cincinnati. 2 outs, comes down 3-0. Fastball inside corner, strike 3 called to Joey Votto. He does not like the call, but that does not matter as that pitch clips the mark. Bottom of the 5th inning for the Cubs. Cubs still without a hit in the ballgame. They're down 3-0. Brandon Finnegan has thrown a very good ballgame so far. 2 punch-outs, 2 walks. First hitter he'll face here in the 5th is Russell, and he takes a fastball on the outside corner for a strike. Russell in his first at-bat flew out to deep left field. And at that time, the wind was blowing pretty good and kept the ball playable. On other days here at Wrigley, that ball might have had a chance to go out of the yard. The next pitch misses wide, and it counts 1-1. And Finnegan right away comes back to Russell, and Addison hooks this one foul, and it counts 1-2. Finnegan has been impressive so far today with the fastball. Primarily early in the game were fastballs, and in the last inning, he really started going to more of the off-speed pitches, and he was very effective throwing strikes with the off-speed pitches. As that pitch misses up and out, and it's 2-2. Wind is starting to pick up again. It died there for a few innings, and now it's blowing back in from center field. As this pitch to Russell misses down as a changeup. Good take by Addison. The count goes to 3-2.
Mention of Aroldis Chapman, no longer with the Reds. Their new closer is J.J. Hoover.
Hoover, big, hard-throwing right-hander. Now the 3-2 to Eddie. Good take by Russell. Good at bat. He gets a walk. Russell laid off the breaking ball down and in. Tough pitch to lay off of because it starts out up in the zone and you think, I got to attack. He lays off it. And the Cubs got a leadoff base runner, and it'll bring up David Ross. Rossi in his first at-bat walked. And then after that, John Lester also walked. Cubs had something going, but couldn't get anybody aboard. Couldn't get anybody home. First pitch to David misses wide. And now Finnegan is feeling the effects. He's missing a little bit. In and out. Big hole on the right side. Brandon Phillips playing way up the middle. Rossi tries to shoot one the other way on the fastball, and he misses, and it counts 1-1. Cool night here at Wrigley. Packed house as we have grown accustomed to. I don't think you could fit another person in Wrigley Field tonight. Rooftops are packed. Park looks phenomenal. A playing surface. I was out there earlier. Not a blade of grass out of place. Next pitch to David Ross. He swings through it. Another good fastball by Finnegan. 93 miles an hour. And the count goes to 1-2. Next pitch to David, and Finnegan blows a fastball past him on the inside part of the plate. Strike 3. And Finnegan has been impressive, Pat. He has thrown some good fastballs. And now this inning, unlike last where he went to more off-speed pitches, the fastball has come back, and he just made some good pitches to David Ross.
It's his third strikeout. He's walked 4. Cubs still looking for their first hit here with 1 away in the 5th inning.
Bring up Johnny Lester. Johnny looking to bump, bunts it right back to Finnegan. He turns, just makes a flip over to Brandon Phillips at first. So good sacrifice bunt by John Lester. Cubs got a man at second base. That's Addison Russell, who led off with a walk, and it'll bring the top of the lineup back up with Dexter Fowler.
Dexter taking a few extra seconds before standing in. He wants to give Lester a chance to get back into the dugout, sit down, take a few deep breaths.
Finnegan with a long look in at his catcher. And now the first pitch to Fowler. Swing and a miss. Fowler has been on the first pitch fastball from Finnegan all night. He swung at the first pitch of the ball game. Fouled that pitch, or hit that ball to right for the first out of the game. Now the 0-1 pitch to Fowler. This pitch just about hit him inside. Count goes to 1-1. Pat, we got some get well wishes to Sarah Legatuda, longtime Cubs employee who is recovering from surgery. She hopes to be back soon. So get well wishes, Sarah. Hopefully you'll be back here and enjoying some bright sunshine here at the Friendly Confines. Next pitch in the dirt to Fowler. Good block by Mesoraco, and the count goes to 2-1. Cubs need a base hit. Russell's at second base, 2 outs. Cubs do not have a hit in the ball game yet with 2 outs here in the 5th. A base hit would definitely score Russell with a little outfield grass. Russell with a good lead at second base. And now the pitch to Fowler. This ball is chopped on the ground to third. Suarez catches it, flips it across the diamond. Nice stretch by Votto, and they barely get Fowler. But that ends the
8th inning now. Miami on top of the Mets in New York, 9-3, top of the 6th. And in Houston, it is the Astros 6 and the Royals nothing, top of the 5th. Pat.
Thanks, Mark. John Lester's pitch swung on, hit by Phillips down the left field line. Long run. Soler makes the catch. Soler running backhand catch near the track, only about 20 feet off the line toward the left field corner. One pitch, one away. This will almost certainly be Lester's final inning of work, if indeed he makes it all the way through this sixth inning. He's at 92 pitches so far. For the benefit of those who are joining us a bit late on this Monday, the Reds scored a run in the first inning as Mesoraco will take a strike. Zach Cozart led off the game with a single, scampered to third on a base hit by Votto, and scored on an infield groundout by Brandon Phillips. Billy Hamilton then hit a towering home run to straightaway left in the third. And Brandon Finnegan, the pitcher, with a 2-out opposite field single into left center in the fourth. The Cubs offense has been stymied on no hits through 5 innings by Brandon Finnegan. Now the 0-2, Mesoraco takes the ball down low. Trevor Cahill throwing in the bullpen down the left field line. Now the 1-2 from Lester to Mesoraco. Just a little bit inside, didn't miss by much. Well, with this explosive Cubs offense, a 3-run deficit is not that big of a deal, Ron, but it is cooler than it was in Phoenix and in Anaheim, and you don't want to get much further behind.
No, you really don't. And, you know, that's the one thing about coming back home to Wrigley, and we've known about this for a long time, that, you know, when you play in the warm weather, the ball's flying, and, you know the 3-run homer can come into play at any time. When it's cold like this, you got to do little things right. Put the ball in play, advance runners, and hope you get a couple big hits in a ball game.
Now the payoff pitch from Lester is down low. He has walked Mesoraco, putting a man on with 1 away in the 6th inning. Cincinnati leading 3-0, and the batter is Jay Bruce.
Cahill looks like he's about ready. Started throwing some breaking balls. It wouldn't surprise me if Joe gives John Lester one more guy and seeing if he gets Bruce and then possibly another, but he's probably on a short leash here with 98 pitches in this game.
Lefty to lefty now. The pitch to Bruce fouled away. A year ago, these two teams played 19 games. The Cubs had 13 wins against Cincinnati. Cubs were 6-4 at Wrigley, and a very impressive 7-2 against the Reds in their home park. Now the 0-1. Bruce checks and takes outside. It's 1-1. Lots of other games going on. Mark Rohde updating those, tracking all of the other big league activity as Lester comes back 1-1 to Bruce. He chops it foul toward the Reds' first base dugout.
Bruce really trying to get something he can hook either in that hole past Rizzo or something he can pull and hit out of here. He has taken 2 big hook swings against Lester.
A ball and 2 strikes on Jay Bruce. Lester fires, bouncer towards second. Zobrist has it. Shovel to Russell, over to Rizzo. That's a double play, and the inning comes to an end. 4-6-3 twin killing. We move to the bottom of inning. Leads off the 6th inning. Chris Bryant on deck, and then Anthony Rizzo. Lefty to lefty. Hayward has flied out and grounded out. He takes a strike. Jason came up with 2 men in scoring position in the 3rd, but grounded out to end the inning. That's the biggest out by far that Finnegan has gotten. He misses inside. It's 1-1.
Yeah, that was one of those plays, Pat, where the shift really got Hayward. He had a sharp ground ball back through the middle. But at that time, Cozart was still in the game, playing right over the second base bag.
Bounced foul past first. After being traded by Kansas City to Cincinnati last summer, Finnegan made 4 late-season starts for the Reds. He started last Wednesday against the Phillies, and this is only his 6th big league start.
Finnegan, one of those guys that, he was used in relief with Kansas City, as you said. He really wanted to be a starter.
Hayward takes inside run. It's 2-2.
Can't say you can argue with him right about now, can you? This is his 2nd start of the season. This is a good one so far. He's at 78 pitches. He hasn't given up a hit here by the 6th.
Hayward checks on an inside fastball. No swing. The count 3-2. Hayward gladly would take a base on balls to get something started with the big boys, Bryant and Rizzo, to follow. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. Off-speed pitch got him. Jason may have chased ball 4. Out number 1.
Yeah, that pitch running inside to Hayward, as he has a pretty decent look at it at the beginning, thinking it's probably going to be on the corner. And then the movement of Finnegan and that riding pitch going up and in to Hayward, and he swings through it.
You could tell Jason couldn't quite extend the arms the way he wanted to with that cut. 1 down. Chris Bryant takes high. Cubs trail 3-0, 6th inning. Bryant has flied out to deep center and struck out. Chris swings at a change, doesn't get it. 1-1. 3 strikeouts and 4 walks from Finnegan. Phillips playing almost directly behind second. And here comes the 1-1 to Chris. Bounce toward third, fair, under the glove of Suarez down the left field line. A hustling Bryant is going to reach second safely. That could be the break the Cubs have been waiting for. Suarez did not get the glove down far enough, trying to short hop on a backhand near third and just let it sneak under the leather.
Yeah, it's a little slider that Bryant's out in front of. He hooks it down the line. And I really thought the ball was going to hit in the grass pad and go foul. It stays fair. And Suarez just kind of makes a backhand play but comes up on that ball. The ball just kind of stays down on him, and it goes down into the Cubs bullpen. It's an error. 2-base error. Cubs got something going.
Here's Anthony Rizzo. Cubs trail 3-0. Lefty to lefty. And the pitch to Rizzo is a strike. The scoreboard has a base hit, but I'm pretty sure that I heard Don Frisky.
Yeah, I heard that too, Pat.
Say that was an error, and it's certainly an error on Suarez. I wasn't even considering the possibility of that being called a hit. Were you?
No, that's an error for sure.
Now the 0-1 to Anthony from Finnegan. Pulled foul toward right, and it's 0-2. Finnegan at 85 pitches. Wind blowing in. 48 at game time. It's probably down into the mid-40s, maybe even the lower 40s by this hour. We'll get you a station ID break here shortly. The tall Bryant leads at second base. And the 0-2 to Anthony, fouled at the plate.
Well, you really haven't seen good swings from the Cubs tonight against Finnegan. And this is a ball club that's really been swinging the bat well. Finnegan has that, what to me, I'm guessing, Pat, for these hitters, is that good late explosion on that fastball. Because most of the guys have been just a little tardy on that fastball, especially the one inside.
Now the 0-2, low and outside. And well, not to take anything away from Finnegan, who's pitching a beautiful game for Cincinnati. But just thinking about the adjustment, the Cubs were in Phoenix and Anaheim, and the temperature was in the 80s. I think it got into the 90s a time or two. And now you're talking about a 30 or 40 degree drop in your home opener. Here's the 1-2. Rizzo hits a pop fly into shallow left. Duvall comes in to make the catch for out number 2. And that's not making excuses for the Cubs, but it is simply a different task. It's a different job hitting in 85-degree weather and hitting in 45-degree weather.
Well, your body just feels different. You're so accustomed to the 80 to 85 to 90-degree weather. You just don't get as loose. You don't. You're swinging with a lot more clothes on, if nothing else. But you gotta make an adjustment. Hopefully the Cubs will, and like you said, Finnegan is throwing a very good ball game. To take nothing away from him, he has hit his spots with the fastball. When he's been erratic with the fastball, he's been able to throw the changeup and the curveball for strikes. He's throwing a good ball game.
Here is Ben Zobrist. He is 0 for 2. Ben takes outside on the corner, a changeup for a strike. The first 3 guys in the first inning, Fowler, Hayward, and Bryant, all hit the ball right on the money. But they were caught by each of the 3 outfielders. There have been some other hard hit balls, but no hits. We are in the 6th inning with 2 down. Zobrist hits a ground ball to third. Suarez has it, throws to first, inning over. Cubs don't score, leave 1. We move to the 7th. Cincinnati 3, Cubs nothing on the Score and the Xfinity Cubs radio network. Right-handed batting left fielder takes the first pitch outside for ball 1. 3-0 Cincinnati in the 7th. Duvall cracks one down the left field line. There's a base hit. That'll skip all the way into the corner. It'll be a double for Duvall to lead off this 7th inning as Soler gets it back in.
Well, Cahill is a guy who has a very good movement on his fastball. He throws a 2-seam fastball, and it moves well when it's down in the zone. Cahill with that one just left that pitch up in the zone, and that one gets shot down into the corner for a leadoff double.
Cubs down 3-0, being out hit 6-0. Finnegan, the pitcher, batting for himself. No activity in the Reds' pen. Cahill's pitch butted at and fouled by Finnegan at the plate. Finnegan getting close to 90 pitches. And even though he has not given up a base hit so far, that is going to be a very interesting thing to watch, to see what Brian Price does regarding the number of pitches he makes in this game. Here's the 0-1. Butted. Ross will pick it up and run toward the runner. He's got him in a rundown between second and third. The throw back to second. Now they run Duvall toward third. Bryant tags him out. Streaking to second safely is Finnegan. The bunt was right down the third baseline, only about 10 feet from the plate. Ross saw the runner Duvall freeze halfway between second and third. He ran at him, and he threw the ball to Russell, who ran the ball toward Bryant at third. Bryant tagged the runner out, but Finnegan, alertly, a pitcher, very few pitchers would have made it to second base on that play.
Yeah, it's a good play. Ross had to run right at the runner Duvall, and Duvall just stood there in the middle of the diamond and forced Ross to run him back, and that gave Finnegan a little extra time to get all the way to second base.
Billy Hamilton now tries to bunt for a base hit and fouls it back.
That one got a piece of David Ross. Kind of an odd play with one out and a man on second base. Billy Hamilton looking to bunt. Usually you're expected to swing the bat and try to drive in a run.
Ronnie, let's pause 10 seconds right here for station identification. This is The Score and the Xfinity Cubs radio network.
Brian Hanley here. Listen to every Cubs game right here. We are Sports Radio 670 The Score, WSCR, and HD Chicago, WJMK, HD2 Chicago.
Reds 3, Cubs nothing. Cubs home opener at Wrigley. Sellout crowd, 7th inning. And Hamilton at the plate will take a strike. Now again, if you're just joining us, the Cubs without a base hit in the game so far. Cubs are still very much alive in the ball game, down by only 3 runs. The lead at second by Finnegan. And the next offering by Cahill misses to the little man Hamilton. Hamilton, the smallest man in the game, but he is the only man with a home run in tonight's contest. Switch hitter batting left-handed. Takes a blazing fastball inside. It's 2-2.
Well, I'll tell you, when you're throwing 93, 94 miles an hour with movement, if you can keep that ball down, it's extremely tough to hit.
A ball now gets loose from the bullpen. Play will continue. The 2-2, check swing, foul back. The ball was actually on the playing field in front of the Cubs' third base dugout when that pitch was delivered. I saw 2 baseballs in play in a minor league game one time.
Which one did you call? Were they?
I wasn't sure which one to call. Here's a pitch down low. Check swing, no swing. It's happened in my hometown of San Jose. There's some practice baseballs on the ground underneath a bench in the bullpen area, and the bench was similar to where it is at Wrigley, right down the foul lines, maybe 15 feet from fair territory. Now the 3-2. Hamilton strikes out swinging, 2 down. Cubs trail 3-0 in the 7th. 2 outs, a man at second. And Ivan DeJesus Jr. coming up. Anyway, there was a practice ball sitting on the ground underneath the bench. You know where I'm going with this now. A guy hits a fair ball inside third and curls into foul territory, rolls right up next to the practice ball. And the left fielder from, I think, Bakersfield comes over and freezes. I can still see him. He had a big afro hairstyle.
Right.
And he froze as if to say, now, which one is the game ball and which is the practice ball? Nobody knew. So he did the only smart thing he could have done. He scooped up both baseballs in one hand and threw both of them back toward the infield. One kind of squirted out of his hand and went straight up in the air. The other ball landed in foul territory near third base. The umpires were laughing so hard they just said, ground rule double, and left it at that.
Really?
Yeah. But for a second there, 2 baseballs were in play in a professional game.
Now, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What did the reporter say on the air with the 2 balls flying back towards the infield?
Here comes the 2-0 pitch, and it's a breaking ball in there for a strike to Ivan DeJesus. I said he picks up both baseballs. He doesn't know which is the gamer and which is the practice ball.
Okay.
And then after that, I started laughing too.
Right.
And the umpires are kind of looking at each other like, Larry, what are you calling? Mike, I have no idea. You're closer to it. You make the call.
That's funny.
It was unbelievable. Cubs had a big league game back in the late 50s where there was confusion over a practice ball and a game ball. 3 balls and a strike. Cahill's pitch on the way, bounce toward third and foul. Reds lead 3-0 here in the 7th inning. But there was a ball boy back near the backstop, and he accidentally picked up a ball that was in play. There was a check swing at the plate. The ball got by, I think it was the Cubs catcher. The Cubs are playing the Cardinals. I forgot all the details, but the ball boy made the mistake. Here's the 3-2. Little pop fly to Rizzo. He's going to make the catch to end the inning. The ball boy thought the other ball was out of play. It was still very much in play. Right. The catcher came back to pick that one up. Meanwhile, the ball boy threw a ball out to the mound, to the pitcher. So now you got the catcher with 1 ball. The pitcher has another. The base runners had no idea what to do. It is time for the 7th inning stretch. Billy Williams, Fergie Jenkins, and Ryne Sandberg.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the ground. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back to the root for the. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Enjoy the summer.
hands-free faucets, high-efficiency fixtures, and water-saving flush valves for commercial markets worldwide. Businesses looking to improve overall water efficiency, meet sustainability goals, and build for the future, make the winning choice today at Sloan.com.
Bank on a brighter future with BBVA Compass. Open a free checking account online today. Hashtag Live Bright with BBVA Compass. Now that's banking on a brighter future.
All right, a couple of things here. Washington beats Atlanta 6-4, so the Braves are 0-6. Also an update on Reds shortstop Jared Kozar, who left the game earlier. Tightness in his right quad. That's why he exited the game. Pat.
All right, Mark. Jorge Soler first up. Swings away and fouls it away. 7th inning. Cubs looking for their first hit against Brandon Finnegan. Finnegan's pitch count is at 91. Nobody throwing in the Reds bullpen. Soler has grounded out to third and flied to center. Soler hits a ground ball left side, fielded by Suarez. The third baseman throws him out, one away. Another hard hit ball, Ron.
Well, the one thing about Finnegan is he's been able to keep the Cubs off balance just enough to where they're not driving the ball into the gaps. And that ball, Georgie hits it right on the button, but rolls over just enough and hits it right at Suarez. Sharply hit ball, but a first out of the inning.
Cubs baseball sponsored by Benny's Beverage Depot. It is the official champagne provider of the Chicago Cubs. Since 1948, Benny's has helped Chicagoland celebrate the best times of their lives. Addison Russell takes a strike. Reds have 6 hits. Russell has flied to left and drawn a walk. Addison takes high for a ball. Bryant reached on an error back in the 6th.
God, I know we do the Benny's toast to the game in a couple innings. We need a few hits to get some toasts to the game and get some players of the game, don't we?
Yes, sir. Russell bounces it foul toward third. There has been one great defensive play, and that was in the very first inning. A ball hit by Jason Hayward to deep left center. Adam Duvall, the left fielder, angled back and made a diving catch near the warning track. That's the defensive gem turned in behind Finnegan. Aside from that, despite some hard hit balls, I think most of the other balls, Ron, you'd have to categorize as routine plays.
Yeah, that last ball Soler hit hard, but right at Suarez at third base.
Russell takes inside. It's 3-2. 97 pitches for Brandon Finnegan.
Now Finnegan in this count in the middle of the game was going with an off-speed pitch. See if he goes to the changeup.
He did again. This pitch fouled away. Very observant of you, Ron. What are you looking for now?
Well, you gotta be able to protect for the fastball because he's had enough life on his heater, Pat, and he's pitched Russell inside. So Addison did a good job of getting to that changeup and spoiling it. Would not surprise me if they come inside now with a heater.
Here's the payoff. Strike 3 called. Russell caught looking.
No argument from Russell on the pitch. Looking at the replay, good pitch right down at the bottom of the zone on the corner.
5 strikeouts for Brandon Finnegan. John Tumpane calling balls and strikes tonight. 2 down, nobody on. Cubs trail 3-0. And here's David Ross. Swinging and missing, 0-1.
Here's tonight's state attendance. 40,882. 4082.
40,882 at Wrigley for the opener. Here comes the 0-1. Low and inside to Ross. Take a look a little later, see how we did with our guesses in the Nuveen Investment attendance game, but 40,882.
Matt Caesar on deck for the Cubs. He would hit for Cahill if Rossi gets on.
The 1-1 is pulled foul on the ground. It's 1-2. This date in baseball history, Greg Maddux, at that time pitching for the Atlanta Braves, lost a game in San Diego, but it snapped his major league record of road victories at 18 in a row. Think about that one.
That's unbelievable.
Here's the 1-2. Fouled away by Ross. We talk about that, how important it is for you to have some guys who can win road games and to win games after your team loses. How about a guy winning 18 straight road decisions? Greg Maddux.
Is that with the Braves or with the Cubs?
With the Braves.
With the Braves, yeah.
I was thinking, Ron, as you asked that, I thought possibly that would have started when he was with the Cubs. Here's a drive down the right field line, slicing toward the corner and going foul. Ross hit it hard, but it sliced foul in back of the bullpen and landed up in the stands. But no, I think possibly part of that would have begun when Maddux was with the Cubs, but I would doubt it. But still, 18 straight road wins. Ross trying to keep the inning going. And the 1-2. A line drive, left center field, base hit. First hit of the game for the Cubs, a soft, clean single into left center by David Ross. And now that'll get the Reds bullpen going. Finnegan, the young 22-year-old, has made 104 pitches. And Matt Caesar at the plate. Let's see if that loosens up the offense.
Yeah, I was going to say, I anticipate a trip to the mound to get the bullpen a chance to get warmed up. At 105 pitches, Price was going to let him go to pitch for the no-hitter, but you sure don't want your young left-handed starter who's thrown such a good game to stay out there for many more pitches. And now you got both barrels going in the Reds bullpen, a lefty and a righty.
Former Cubs pitching coach Mark Riggins, the Reds pitching coach these days. That's always a good move, I think, right after a kid, or even a veteran for that matter, has lost his bid for a no-hitter. It's an emotional thing,
right.
And there's going to be a natural letdown when you do give up that first hit, especially as you get later in a game. Here is Matt Caesar. And Matt takes down low. If Matt can reach, Fowler would represent the tying run.
Well, yeah, if you're the Reds, Finnegan has thrown a great ball game, so he gives up a bloop single here in the 7th inning. And if you lose concentration, you make a bad pitch, and now Caesar juices one and hits one in the seats. Not only did you lose your no-hitter, you lost your shutout, and now you might lose, period, and lose the ball game.
The left-hander comes back. Caesar takes a ball that bounces in the dirt.
I guarantee you Brian Price can't get Finnegan out of this game fast enough. He's at 107 pitches. They had no intention, I'm sure, of having him go that many pitches in this ball game tonight.
Let's see if Caesar can reach. Cubs trail 3-0. Down low, and it's 3-0. You know he'll be taking one now. Chicagoland native Tony Cingrani is the left-hander in the Reds pen. Caleb Cotham, the right-hander. And now a trip to the mound by Mesoraco. This is just to buy some time.
Veteran catcher. Count goes to 3-0. He just slowly gets out to the mound. Now the bullpen, by the time Finnegan throws this next pitch, everybody should be good to go in the Reds pen.
Ross a short lead, 2 down, 7th inning. Ball 4 to Caesar. The tying run will be at the plate. And let's see if Brian Price is going to make a change. We would certainly anticipate him doing so. Mesoraco again buying some more time with a slow stroll out to the mound. Here comes Price. Finnegan pitched a magnificent game here tonight. He will leave having given up only one hit in 6 2/3. This visiting pitching change is sponsored by Sloan, the proud water efficiency partner of the Chicago Cubs, providing
shows. Leading Kansas City 7-0. That game heading into the 7th inning. Angels and A's, no score at the end of one. Recapping some of the finals from earlier, including St. Louis over Milwaukee, 10-1 the final score. Michael Wacha getting the win. Tyler Youngman the loss. Also, Washington beat Atlanta 6-4, so the Braves are 0-6 now. Also, Baltimore over Boston 9-7. In that game, Chris Davis with a tie-breaking 3-run shot against the Red Sox new closer, Craig Kimbrell. Pat.
Okay, Mark, thank you. Cotham is the new pitcher, Caleb Cotham. Dexter Fowler at the plate. He is the tying run. Big crowd. Let's see if Dexter can get a hold of one. He takes down low for ball one. Cotham, appearing for the 4th time, has not yet allowed a run. He's worked a total of 4 innings and given up 3 hits. 2 outs, 2 on. Cubs trail by 3. Fowler takes inside ball 2. Sometimes when a guy has been as effective as Finnegan, Ron, from up here, my feeling is anybody but that other guy.
Anybody is better than what Finnegan facing him. You're right.
Here comes the 2-0. Fowler fouls it at the plate, 2-1. You're just happy to be seeing another pitcher on the mound after what you've seen for the last couple of hours.
Just something different. Finnegan had great command of his fastball. Good changeup today, a little breaking ball, but fastball changeup were his 2 best pitches. Had Cubs off balance most of the night.
Caesar running at first, Ross at second, and the 2-1. It's high for ball 3, 3-1. The Reds have a very young team. I'm almost positive this is the first time that Cotham has ever pitched at Wrigley Field in his young career. Listen to these fans. They're standing. The 3-1. Ball 4, they're loaded. Cotham is a Tennessee native. This is definitely his first game ever at Wrigley. And his outing is going to be a very short one. Brian Price wants to go back to the bullpen to bring in the left-hander Cingrani to face Jason Hayward. So now the tying with 20 strikeouts against the state's top-ranked team. And when I played high school baseball, it's been many years ago, but it was only 7 innings, so that's only 21 outs. He struck out 20 of the 21 outs.
Yeah, it's a 7-inning game, and that's pretty dominant performance, I would say, right?
That'll bring some scouts out to look at you.
I would say so.
Cingrani inheriting a bases-loaded jam. There are 2 outs. The speedy Fowler represents the tying run at first. Hayward is nothing for 3 in his Cubs debut at Wrigley. Lefty to lefty, here we go. And Hayward will take a strike.
The Reds in the outfield, Hamilton playing very shallow in center field, which is normal for him, but they're bunching Hayward to the middle of the field. If he hooks one down the right field line, all 3 runners would score.
Swinging a foul back, and it's 0-2. Cingrani has a good arm. He's a hard thrower. He has been used as both a starter and a reliever with Cincinnati. Ross the runner at third, Caesar at second, Fowler at first. Outfield straight away. The strike 2 pitch to Hayward. Swung on, line toward right field, base hit. 1 run is in. Caesar heads to the plate. He will score. Going to third is Fowler. 2-run single, Jason Hayward. And the fans, with their applause, are saying, "Welcome to Wrigley Field, Jason Hayward."
That's all the Cubs needed was one big hit to get this crowd back in the game. Hayward goes behind in the count, 0-2. Cingrani comes with a fastball. They want it away, and he throws it in the middle of the plate, but up. And Hayward smokes this ball to right. Caesar scores easily from second, and Fowler goes from first to third. So the Cubs have the tying run at third base.
And the left-hander Cingrani will now face Chris Bryant. Listen to these fans. It's a 3-2 ball game. Cingrani throws to first, chasing Hayward back. Bryant is nothing for 3. Tying run 90 feet away. Many fans are standing all of a sudden. Cubs are down by a run. 7th inning, 2 down. Bryant fouls it away down the right field line.
Pat, after that throw to first base, Cubs dugout chirping at both the home plate umpire and the first base umpire. I think everybody felt in the Cubs dugout, and so did I, that Cingrani balked throwing to first base. He stepped way towards home plate before he threw over.
Now the 0-1. Bryant takes inside for a ball, 1-1. You know, Ron, I comment about that a lot. That is a rarely called play in baseball. They let the left-handed pitchers have a lot of leeway with that particular move. We'll discuss that later on. Bryant waits for the 1-1, the pitch. And Chris will take down low, and it's ball 2. Both runs are charged to the starter, Finnegan. Fowler at third, the tying run. Hayward, the go-ahead run at first. Bryant hits a ground ball to the hole at short. It's fielded by De Jesus Jr., and he throws out Bryant at first for out number 3. Bryant rolls out to short. The Cubs score twice on the clutch single by Jason Hayward. We go to the 8th inning. The score in Cincinnati. 2-run single by Hayward. And thinking of chasing runs across home plate. Well, Adam Warren is the new Cubs pitcher. He'll go to work on Eugenio Suarez, who bounces one to short, scooped up by Russell over to first, out number 1. But to make sure all of your business goals get across home plate, make the Village of Bedford Park a winning home for your business. Another Cubs pitching change. Cubs pitching changes, by the way, sponsored by Ghost Bed. Supernatural sleep comfort delivered right to your door. Visit ghostbed.com.
Warren entering the game. He had a good ball game a couple nights ago for the Cubs, and now he's getting his second appearance as a Cub.
Joey Votto takes inside.
He was impressive a couple nights ago.
Very.
A lot of good command of the fastball on both sides of the plate. Mixed in his off-speed pitches whenever he needed. And really in attack mode, going after hitters with strikes.
Time called. 1 away, top of the 8th inning. 3-2 Cincinnati. Interesting run. This is the first time that the Cubs have played the Reds in many years in which Aroldis Chapman was not available as a closer on the other side. And just from my standpoint, it's a different feeling.
Game changing. You sit here right now going into the 8th inning thinking this is, you better score next inning because you got the big guy coming in the 9th. Not that you can't score against them, but chances are he's going to shut you down.
And that's also not to make light of the other guys who are going to take over as closer, like J.J. Hoover and possibly somebody else. They're big league pitchers and very good. I'm not saying the Cubs will necessarily score against them, but it's just a different feeling without Aroldis Chapman.
Chapman is elite in the game itself. I mean, he just is. It was like Mariano Rivera. You knew you had to get to the Yankees before the 8th.
Votto pulls a hard single into right field. It's a 1-out single. Joey gets his second hit of the game. Votto, a single to left center earlier. Now a single into right. And here's Brandon Phillips. And that's a big run at first base.
Yeah, it really is. Votto off to a slow start so far this season. But it's still just very early in the year. Votto, one of the better offensive players in our league. He can spray the ball all over the field.
Phillips drove in a run with a first inning ground out, scored a run after a 4th inning single. He pokes one foul off to the right out of play. Take a look at the Nuveen Investments attendance game, 40,882. Well, I was the lucky one tonight. 40,882. And I came a little bit closer, but we'll do it again on Wednesday night, Ron. And
okay,
you're going to go first on Wednesday.
Congratulations, partner.
It's an awfully big moment for me. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And that's not me clapping, by the way. Here's a curve outside, check swing, no swing. I can't imagine that was Mark Brody clapping for me, since he was one of the people I vanquished.
Mark does get a little upset when he loses at this game.
Well,
he takes it seriously.
I think I'm the only one with a 2-game winning streak this year, though.
Didn't know we were keeping records. Here is a swing and a miss by Phillips, and the count is 1-2.
Like I said.
I take pride in this stuff.
If there's ever a tie in the game, Dave Miska will cast the deciding vote. It's kind of like they do on the Supreme Court, right? Very similar. Here's a 1-2 stretch. And the pitch on the way to Phillips instead of toss to first. Ronnie, time to name the toast of the game ball player, sponsored by Benny's Beverage Depot. Benny's is the official champagne provider of the Cubs. Who do you like?
Well, you could go with somebody from Cincinnati. Obviously, Finnegan had a great ball game. But how about if we go with Jason Hayward? 2-run single. Game's not over yet. I'd like the Cubs' chances still.
Popped up, fouled, right side. Rizzo chasing down toward the stands and reaches into the stands, cannot make the catch. Anthony ran hard into that tarpaulin. He's okay. The plastic tarp is rolled up and wedged up against the grandstand wall. I imagine you ran into a few of those over on the other side.
Yeah, I definitely have. Anthony hits the tarp hard, and it kind of kicks his body up over into the wall. Good effort by Anthony. Just didn't quite get there. But I say we go with Jason Hayward.
Sure.
First home game here at Wrigley Field. A 2-run single, a standing ovation.
Reds have led all night. They lead 3-2. We are in the 8th with 1 away and 1 on. Check swing ground ball back toward the mound. Ross, the catcher, picks it up, throws to Rizzo at first in time. Phillips is out on an excuse-me swing. Safe at second, however, is Votto. With 2 down, it brings up Devin Mesoraco.
Boy, David Ross does a great job of getting to this ball, calling it, and getting Warren out of the way so he can come up and make a good, strong throw. David, a veteran of many years in the big leagues, but still has great ability to get out from behind home plate and make good plays defensively. And that was a nice one.
Warren worked an inning and a third of scoreless ball Saturday in Arizona, helping to preserve Kyle Hendricks' win. Low and outside for a ball. It's 1-0 on Mesoraco. Boy, that's a big run at second right now. Cubs down by a run. Nobody has gone home, or very few. Here's the 1-0. It's a strike. People at Wrigley, they get here before the first pitch, and they stay until the last pitch.
I got here early today, Pat. Had some things going on around the ballpark. 2 o'clock.
Mesoraco hits a ground ball. Diving stop by Bryant at third. Gets up, throws to first. Got him. Excellent play, Chris Bryant. He hit the deck, lunging to his left. Picked himself up after making a nice stop. Threw to Rizzo. Yes, sir, Mark. We go to the bottom of inning number 8. Cubs generated some momentum in the 7th, scoring twice on Hayward's 2-out clutch single. Here is Rizzo to lead off the 8th, and he takes a strike. And when you've got the firepower that the Cubs offense has, well, we don't like to make too many baseball predictions, and I have no idea what's going to happen tonight. But over the course of this year, this team, you would think, is going to come from behind and win a lot of games late. Rizzo drives one in the air, right field down the line, hooking toward the corner. That's a foul ball. A foul ball. It must have hit the side wall. He hit a smash against the left-hander Cingrani. It must have just hooked foul. It left our vision. We're watching the replay now.
Yeah, it hits the side wall, Pat, but I really believe Bruce never saw it hit the side wall, and Anthony couldn't really tell either because Anthony kept running, and Bruce played it like the ball was fair.
The shadow of the wall creates a dark space out in that area. Now the 0-2 to Rizzo is down low. And we had the luxury of the television replay, and you can easily see the ball hitting the wall, but I would imagine with that dark shadow, it'd be a little hard to see that ball hit the wall from the angle of, say, Bruce or Rizzo. Anthony hitless, flied out twice, also had a walk. The 1-2 outside and low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rizzo trying to get on to start an 8th inning rally with Zobrist on deck and then Soler. And now the 2-2. Ground ball to the right side in short right field is Phillips to pick it up off the grass and throw out a hustling Rizzo. 1 down.
Anthony shortened up on the bat, little choke up about an inch or so. Got a fastball down and in, but Cingrani, with good movement on that fastball, got Riz to just hit a ground ball.
Jumbo Diaz, one of the hardest throwers in baseball, is warming in the Reds bullpen. Here is Zobrist, hitless in 3 at-bats. Low and inside. Ben from Central Illinois, the town of Eureka. Just like you, Ron, I know he's played a lot of games in cool weather, just like we have here tonight.
Yeah, you would think that's an advantage for some of the guys that have played here in the Midwest growing up. I know I always felt like it was an advantage.
You knew how to make the adjustments.
Right? You're just accustomed to being in the weather and play the game.
Now the 2-0, popped up foul behind the plate. Mesoraco with no play. The breeze is blowing. Boy, it's been swirling all night. Right now it actually looks like it's blowing in a little bit from center. So a ball to the middle of the diamond, it would be almost impossible to hit a home run. Zobrist takes just inside. It's 3-1. Reds 3, Cubs 2, 8th inning. Just 1 homer in the game, hit by Billy Hamilton way back in the 3rd. Zobrist takes ball 4. Tying run is on. And let's see what manager Brian Price wants to do with the slugging right-handed batting Soler coming up. He's got a right-hander in the bullpen.
Keep looking down at the dugout. It doesn't look like Price is going out there. Diaz is ready to go, Pat. And you wonder if Brian Price doesn't like the matchup of the hard-throwing but straight fastball of Diaz against Soler.
Soler nothing for 3. Here's the pitch. It's taken for a strike. 1 away in the 8th inning. Cubs did not get their first hit until the 7th. David Ross with a single into left center. Jason Hayward a 2-run single later in the 7th. Cingrani with that awkward looking pickoff move, again throwing to first. I say awkward only because it looks like he is coming home and then he throws to first. Zobrist a short lead. Again, Cingrani chases the runner back. I think Zobrist is discussing that move with Jeff Kellogg, the first base umpire, right now. Here comes the 0-1. Soler takes inside. Well, if you're the Cubs right now, you're hoping that the runner Zobrist will distract Cingrani to the point where he might make a mistake to Soler, who could give you the lead with 1 swing.
Boy, I'm just surprised that Diaz is not in this ballgame.
Time called now, Ron, as Soler backs away. Cingrani was right in the middle of his motion. The fans wanted a balk called.
Well, Cingrani never looked home before he started going, and Soler had stepped out already. So that one's really on Cingrani.
And the 1-1. Soler swings and misses, fooled badly on a sharp breaking ball. 1-2.
Cingrani has stayed inside against Soler in this at bat. Took a lot off that breaking ball on the last pitch. It bounced almost into the back foot of Jorge Soler.
Soler lifetime 0 for 2 against Cingrani. And now the 1-2 pitch, swinging a foul back. He challenged him, and Soler was ready and fouled it back.
Boy, Georgie had a big swing at that fastball, and that's exactly been the issue for Cingrani. He'll make some good pitches, get ahead in the count, and he did the same thing to Hayward, Pat. He threw the fastball, but threw it in the middle of the plate, and Hayward drove in 2 runs.
Now the 1-2. A wild pitch getting away from Mesoraco, and down to second goes the tying run, Ben Zobrist. Now a base hit could get the Cubs even. I'm a little surprised where Hamilton is playing, considering the power of Soler. How about you?
Well, it's surprising in the fact that he is way too shallow. But with the kind of speed he has, I know he feels better going back on the ball than coming in. But if Georgie hits a ball hard over his head, a line drive, he'll never catch it. It'd be extra bases.
Now Mesoraco out to visit with Cingrani. The on-deck hitter is Addison Russell. Miguel Montero available for pinch hitting duty. Let's see who else is on that Cubs bench. Tommy La Stella, Miguel Montero, and Munenori Kawasaki. And the 2-2. Low ball 3. Soler had a good look at that one.
Yeah, that was the breaking ball that he swung at for strike 2. And now look at these fans. You think they're into this game opening night?
Everyone bundled up, wearing gloves. Everyone standing. The 3-2. Inside it, hit it. Ball 4, and the Reds get a break. A hit by pitch. I say that because it would have been a wild pitch had it just been ball 4. And on that, Zobrist would have gone to third. But the ball hit the dirt and then hit Soler. It makes it a dead ball, and no runners can advance. That's been a rule forever. The Reds get a break on that one.
Yes, Cingrani throws this off-speed pitch, and it bounces about 3 feet in front of the plate, and it bounces into Soler.
Bottom of the 8th inning, 1 down. Cubs have runners at first and second. Zobrist at second base, Soler at first. The batter is Addison Russell. Jumbo Diaz, a very hard-throwing right-hander pitching for Cincinnati. And here we go. Russell is 0 for 2 with a walk. First pitch by Jumbo. Swung on, hit in the air, deep left center. It's got a chance, gone! Addison Russell, a 3-run homer.
Well, you talk about igniting a crowd, Pat. Addison Russell, this is a good matchup for Addie. A great fastball hitter with the leg kick, and I mean, he blasts this ball into the wind to left. 3-run homer, and the Cubs take the lead. And this place is up for grabs.
Towering drive on a night when the ball is not really carrying that well. That left the park by plenty. It was 5 to 7 rows deep, just to the left of the 368 sign. Cubs lead 5-3.
You called it at the beginning of the inning. With the firepower of this club, you never know. And Russell is the guy that does it at the bottom of the lineup.
David Ross, the batter. And the pitch by Jumbo. Ross shows bunt, takes outside. For Addison Russell, he picked a very opportune moment for his first home run of the season. He led the Cubs in the Cactus League with half a dozen. And that was a majestic drive. With that home run, score big savings on Bosch and Thermador at Grand Appliance and TV, the official appliance retail partner of Cubs Radio. Ross pulls a ground ball to third, gloved nicely by Suarez, moving to his left, and he throws out David Ross. 2 down.
Boy, another sharply hit ball by the Cubs here against Diaz. The long home run by Russell. And now that ball hit like a bullet to third. Nice play by Suarez.
Before the next man bats, 10 seconds for ID. This is The Score and the Xfinity Cubs Radio Network.
This is the official radio home of the Chicago Cubs. We are Sports Radio 670 The Score, WSCR and HD Chicago, WJMK HD2 Chicago.
Cubs trying to win their first home opener since 2010. They have lost 5 in a row. They were down all night until the 3-run homer by Addison Russell just a moment ago. Hector Rondon throwing in the bullpen. Take John Lester off the hook. Brandon Finnegan gets no decision. Kawasaki will take a strike, and it's 0-1. Finnegan flirting with a no-hitter into the 7th inning. Will walk away with an ND. Kawasaki swings and misses. Looking to the Reds' 9th. They'll have Bruce, Duvall, and Finnegan, or Finnegan's replacement. It'll be a pinch hitter, you know, in that 8th spot.
Boy, what a big hit by Addison Russell.
Kawasaki takes high. As you say that, Ron, I can't think of a bigger one he's had as a big leaguer so far.
Boy, he's gotten some big hits, you know, and big at-bats. But there's certain matchups, Pat, going into this at-bat, I thought when Diaz came to the plate, came to the mound, he's going to throw bullets, and Addison Russell can catch up with a heater.
The 1-2, a check swing, it's low and away. It's 2-2. Cubs lead 5-3 in the 8th inning.
That was a no-doubter, too. Addison knew it as soon as he hit it.
The only thing I was concerned about was how high he hit it, because sometimes on windy, cold nights, the higher you hit it, the less it carries. Here's a looper into shallow right center. Bruce is going to grab it to end the inning. But the Cubs score 3 runs on 1 hit. But what a big hit it was, a 3-run homer by Addison Russell. We go to the 9th 4. By the way, fans won't strike out with Gold Coast Bank. Visit goldcoastbank.net today. 9th inning, Jay Bruce takes a strike, 0-1. Fans are still standing. Cubs have rallied 2 in the 7th and 3 in the 8th after being no hit until 2 outs in the 7th inning.
Pat, Cubs with some defensive changes in the game. Kawasaki stays in the game and goes to third base. And Chris Bryant, who was playing third base, is now in left field.
So they're hit by a pitch right before Addison Russell's home run. Strike 3 called. Bruce is called out on strikes. And Rondon begins the 9th inning with a punch out. And by the way, a save is on the line. This save opportunity sponsored by the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program. Save with a $100 rebate on smart thermostats. Learn more at ComEd.com/rebates. It's Adam Warren's game to win. First pitch to Duvall is in for a strike.
Pat, I just saw the fastball on replay that Rondon threw Bruce. It started out at his front hip, broke over the inside corner at 96 miles an hour.
Duvall swings and misses, nothing in 2. Big, strong, right-handed throwing Hector Rondon, a native of Venezuela. He's got presence on the mound. Holds that ball in the glove at the waist, stands quietly, then rocks and fires 0-2. Curve in the dirt, ball 1. Hector, one of the few guys who does extend the arms up over his head in the windup these days.
Pat, I'll tell you, it goes past presence when a guy's throwing 96 to 100 and he's holding that baseball on the mound. I promise you that.
It's 1-2 on Duvall. And here it comes. Strike 3 call. 2 down. This atmosphere, Ron, you will recall last October when the Cubs were playing the Cardinals. It might not be quite as electric, but I'll tell you what, it's close.
41,000 people here, all standing from the last inning after the home run. It is electric here as soon as that ball hit the seats, and the Cubs got the lead.
Scott Schebler, batting for the Reds, takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Cubs 5, Cincinnati 3, 9th inning. Cubs trying to improve to 6-1. That would be their best start since 1998 when they began 6-1. A swing and a foul back. It's 0-2. Listen to these fans. Two down, nobody on. Rondon delivers again. Fouled away by Schebler. Schebler had a game-winning hit against Philadelphia last week. It was a 2-run single in the bottom of the 9th inning to give Cincinnati a 2-1 win. Now the 0-2. Low and inside. David Ross has caught the entire game.
Rondon in this 9th inning, 10 pitches, 9 for strikes.
This crowd ready to explode. Reds down to their last strike. The 1-2. Strike 3 call. Rondon strikes out the side, and the Cubs win the home opener by a score of 5-3. What a performance by Rondon. Not only 3 strikeouts, all 3 were called third strikes.
Boy, he just kept pumping that 2-seam fastball, Pat, is what I think it was. It's almost unfathomable to say the 2-seam fastball with that kind of movement, and it's 96, 97 miles an hour for the 3 punch-outs.
Great win for the Cubs, Ron. We'll take a timeout, and we'll come back. The Cubs win the home opener in dramatic, come-from-behind fashion. The final score, the Chicago Cubs 5 and the Cincinnati Reds 3. Back with more in a moment. You are listening to The Score and the Xfinity Cubs Radio Network.
John Lackey here. This is the exclusive radio home for the Cubs. Listen to every game here on Sports Radio 670, The Score.
Spring is a time of transformation. Transform how you drive at the Audi Exchange of Highland Park with special low lease payments on our entire inventory of new Audis. The Audi Exchange of Highland Park. Expect the exceptional. Visit Audi Exchange.